Yo, what's up, guys? This is another episode of PB&J. I'm John, and I'm here again with Jesse and Brian.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, so I'm pretty glad that we're able to do a pod today because I'm going to be gone for a week. Yeah, I'll be traveling to the land of Transylvania, and I'm not kidding here, but it'll be cool. Next week we have something really interesting in store for you guys. So I won't be part of it, but I'm really looking forward to hearing it later.
So you're heading out there for work, right?
Yeah, it's for work.
And there's nothing to do out there, right? That's what you were telling me before.
In the city I'm going to is not much, but there's some cool stuff to see. It's just that the city that I'm going to it's more for work.
It's just like industrial area.
Kind of, yeah.
Don't they have like cute Romanian chicks over there? I find out if anybody needs papers.
Just ask for you.
Just pass his number
Well,
along.
not for you.
But you hit up Dracula's castle and stuff before, right?
Yeah, I have. It's pretty cool, but then it's not what you expect it to be. You know, like before I went, I thought it would be really cool, but it's just a regular castle from the guy back then who lived there. He liked to like torture people.
Yeah, Vlad the
Like
Impaler, right?
Yep, that's him. So he had a bunch of torture device, and I guess based on that, like, what was the author's name?
Bram Stoker.
Yeah, he created a Dracula character based on him. I mean, I learned that from going to that castle, but you probably knew that already.
Yeah. Not that I'm messed up or
You
anything.
read it in book.
Yeah.
Little kids.
So you'll be gone. What? You'll be back next Saturday or Sunday?
I'll be back next Friday, so I'll miss like one or maybe two podcasts next week that you guys are doing. We're not gonna give away what it's going to be, but just stay tuned.
Yeah, we have a co-host coming in, so it's gonna be pretty fun.
I'll probably be replaced by the time I get back.
I was gonna say, we're interviewing your replacement right now.
Did you get someone from Romania already, Jesse?
Well, it depends on how much time Brian puts into it. If he's all about work, then
Not trying to help his friends, but he's all about work. Is that what I'm hearing?
hey, did you have to get a visa for that? Did the work get you a visa for that location?
No, but they are one of the 5 countries where you need something. I forgot. I just forgot what it is. But it's one of the 5 European countries that's going to require a visa soon. But not right now. At least not that I know of.
Is it because of Donald Trump or?
I don't know. I'm not sure what the reason was.
So you're saying that we might just be saying bye to Brian?
Yeah, I'll just stay there. Don't mind.
Just don't take a tour to North Korea.
Okay.
Got good beer in Romania. I think Brian will be okay.
What are you talking about? That's like where Frankenstein and Dracula and all those people are.
Yeah, but that's cool though. It's all right. Just keep your
We're
your head on.
Brian here.
Just keep your head on a swivel. Just keep your eyes open, and you'll be all right. And don't go out at night. That's fine.
But he's not Korean, so he doesn't eat as much garlic as he should.
Garlic. So today was a huge day in the NBA. It was the 2017 NBA draft. But really, there's been a pretty epic week in the NBA. There's been 4 or 5 trades. There's still a lot of trade speculation going on as we speak. We had some big ones today during the draft. And pretty much everybody's trying to load up and beat the Warriors. So it's actually kind of cool as an NBA fan to see all this stuff going on. A lot of times there's a lot of talk about trades going to happen and then nothing happens. Like last year's draft, I remember there was a lot of teams potentially moving picks for players and all that stuff. And then once the draft started, nothing happened. And it ended up being just a regular boring old draft. And then all the rookies that year really weren't that good. So it was pretty much a dud. This week's, like right off the bat, I think it was Monday. You might have to check that, Brian. We had the first big trade, which was the Boston Celtics flipping from the first pick to the third pick with Philadelphia. I think they switched their picks next year, and then they gave Philadelphia their first round pick next year. So that was huge because the Celtics, everyone kind of had them locked in on taking that number 1 pick, Markelle Fultz, or dangling that that pick to get Paul George. And then after that was Jesse's Lakers somehow managing to fool the Nets into taking Mozgov. I still don't know how they did it, but the Nets are suckers. So I know about that. They traded Timothy Mozgov and D'Angelo Russell for Brook Lopez, who's actually a really good player. And mainly that pick, I mean, that trade was to clear cap space for Paul George. I was actually really surprised about that pick. What do you think, Brian? Was that good? A good move for the Lakers?
Yeah, it was a good move. They have to get rid of Mozgov and Deng, so I can see another trade going down in the next few weeks where they bundle Deng with someone else or maybe some more picks to try to free up the space to bring in Paul George. And they got their number 2 pick, which we'll get into later. But I was surprised that they were willing to part with D'Angelo Russell. I mean, he was their number 2 pick. It was just last year, right? Or 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and they gave up on him already. So yeah, so we'll see how this year's number 2 pick pans out. But it's a good thing they were able to get Mozgov off the books instead of getting stuck with him for another year or two.
Yeah, it seems like the new, well, if everyone knows that the new president of the Lakers is Magic Johnson. It looks like he's trying to wipe away the old GM's mistakes, right? Taking D'Angelo Russell over Kristaps Porzingis, signing Mozgov, signing Deng to huge contracts, right? Like $70-80 million contracts.
Yeah, those guys were making like 16-17 million a year or something.
Yeah, and I love Deng. I love Deng. Deng's my boy. He was on the Bulls for a long time, but they ran him to the ground. Like, he was playing 40-45 minutes a game his whole career. So to give someone who's been in the league as long as him, he came in the same year as LeBron, so this is like or the year after LeBron, so this is like his 13th year. To give him that type of money I was really surprised, like, that they would do that.
It's good for him, right?
Oh yeah,
he made his money.
Yeah. And my boy Deng he's set.
And it was the Lakers giving him that money too, so
yeah.
it's a double win.
Like, he knew he wasn't gonna go out with a ring.
Yeah, so just get
and I think you're right that I think Magic and Genie are now taking over and they're fixing up all the mistakes that the brothers did. Hopefully they go ahead and fix something about the coaching stuff too.
Oh, Luke Walton?
Yeah, the other ugly guy on the team now.
It's only second year, dude. You gotta let him grow. He's young. You gotta let him grow.
Yeah, because we've done that with the last how many coaches? And plus, like I said, it wasn't a choice that was done by Magic and Genie. I think we all know the brains of the family's Genie.
Yeah.
Jim was the dad was obviously smart, and crazy, but Jeannie is the brains. She's the true basketball fan in the family and knows her shit. The brothers are just fucking idiots.
Yeah, she should have been in charge right from the get-go, way back when Dr. Bus died in 2012, 2013. Yeah, and instead he had left Jim in charge, and he obviously didn't know what he was doing. It was pretty funny, right? He said, if this team isn't contending in 4 to 5 years, I'll step down. And this was it. And they're like, all right, dude, what's up? And he's like, oh, well, I didn't mean it. I was just saying. No, you're fired. Get out of here. Bring in Magic.
Take it back.
Yeah, take it back. No, I didn't mean. Yeah, bring in Magic. But hey, I gotta say, Magic's coming is starting on the right foot. Managed to get Mozgov's big contract off the books. And then getting, and if it cost him Russell, who really I don't think was that great. Kind of a waste of a number 2 pick. So just coming in and wiping the slate clean, so to speak. And then another thing too was that Brook Lopez is on a 1-year deal as well. So at the end of the year, if they decide just to let him walk and don't bring him back, they're sitting on like $45 to $50 million of cap space to go after Paul George and maybe LeBron. Huh? LeBron, Jesse? LeBron?
Whatever.
Yeah, you would say no for him going there.
No, it's cool.
If we get him here, he'll be at the end of his career. He's still not gonna take us to championship league with the Warriors, how strong they are now. Unless something happens with the Warriors are the team to beat for the next couple of 3-4 years maybe. Like you said, the Celtics are maybe the next team that's gonna grow. That they're doing the rebuilding year. So I don't know. With by the time he's not gonna help us. we need to build a younger team, and it's good that we're bringing in Lopez, and then maybe we can, if we start winning a few more games, then we can tease other players to come in and stuff like that. But I don't know about our draft pick for today either. So that's another thing we'll talk about later.
So the next big trade is since we're on the Lakers, it's one of Jesse's former favorite guys, Dwight Howard, was dumped from the Hawks to the Bobcats for like a bag of chips and a couple of basketballs. So Atlanta's in full rebuilding mode. It's just crazy how Dwight Howard, who went from, remember 4 or 5 years ago when the Lakers got him, you know, he's going to be the next great dominant center in the Lakers story or franchise and stuff, to today where Atlanta was just trying to get rid of him as fast as possible, and they got nothing for him. And everyone was like, oh yeah, that's cool. You know, that's what he's worth. That's a pretty quick fall from grace for that guy.
Yeah, and that's like his hometown too.
Yeah, that's right. Born and raised in Atlanta, and they said, nah, that's cool.
Yeah, so the Hawks get Marco Bellinelli and Miles Plumlee in 41st pick, which is really nothing.
It's nothing. It really is. Like when we say you got traded for a bag of chips, that's pretty much what that is. Atlanta just get him out of here. And for Charlotte, I mean, I guess you have Dwight Howard. Someone's got to get Kemba Walker shots. You know, someone's got to get those rebounds. Guess it'll be Dwight.
Yeah. Well, for the Hornets, they're getting something out of it, right? Like they're gonna get some rebounds and some scoring. I mean, they're not gonna improve that much, but it'll be a little bit better. They'll probably win like 5 extra games with him.
Yeah, I mean, he's an upgrade from Plumlee, so yeah. He'll step up the defense, shot blocking, get some putbacks, maybe some pick and roll stuff, but not a huge game changing trade as like when he was originally went from Orlando to the Lakers, where everyone thought the Lakers were just going to dominate with him, but it didn't work out.
Well, so he supposedly had that bad back the entire year, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that was the case, or he just sucked?
No, I think he just didn't like it there. He didn't like Kobe. I just think he didn't care for it because he went to Houston the next year. Yeah. And he did better, but he still wasn't the Dwight of old. So,
well, he was beefing with like James Harden at that.
Yeah, I think he started beefing with
trying to get each other traded and everything.
Yeah. So that guy, that's something's up with that guy.
So you wonder who's at fault? Was it really Kobe, or is it that this fool just has a problem?
No, he has a problem. Dwight, he's like wherever he goes,
he's a superstar, right?
Yeah,
That's an ego thing.
Yeah.
It's like you can't, and that's what happened with Kobe and Shaq. It was an ego thing. They couldn't share the spotlight. It was the same thing with Howard. Howard is just he can't share the spotlight with somebody else. He's not the best player out of the two, so they're gonna ship him off.
Well, you have to thank him too because after he played with the Lakers, Kobe realized how good Shaq was, and they became buddies after that. So
they're best buddies now.
Yeah, because of Dwight. He realized like.
Are they gonna do a rap album together now?
Shaq Fu
and Kobe.
The Fushnikins featuring Kobe.
They'll do a commercial with Turkish Airlines and what's that? Icy Hot, whatever.
Yeah. For all you fans who haven't heard, go look up Shaq and the Fushnikins and Kobe's rap album. That's some good stuff right there.
2018. Yeah.
Yeah, so like a couple of weeks before the trade, I heard that Dwight was working on his 3-pointer. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did. Kind of too late for that.
The Hawks probably heard that and they're like, no, we gotta get rid of him.
So those were all the trades that went down during the week. I don't think I forgot any. So all those trades brought us to the NBA draft today. Boston taking, or not Boston, now Philly taking Markelle Fultz, #1 pick. That team's going to be good in a few years, I think. Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. That's a pretty good team. The only thing is they're still really young, so they're probably not going to be good for another year or two. Oh, and Dario Saric. But by getting Markelle Fultz in there, they're getting a true stud to go with that core. And they'll be exciting to watch. I'll check out a few games next year. Well, we'll see how good they are. If they still stink, I probably won't watch them. But
yeah, they reported that all their season tickets were sold.
Really?
So so the fans are coming back to watch them again.
Yeah, I mean that's a good young core. I think they can be really good in a few years. That's a problem, right? But I think they're set. So that pick went as expected, and then the #2 pick, the big pick, Lakers. We all saw it coming for months. trading D'Angelo Russell opened the door for Lonzo Ball, the most handsome man in basketball, right, Jesse?
If you like that kind of ugly, yeah. I mean, there's somebody for everybody.
That's what my mom says.
The other day I was joking about like getting a Reebok Lakers like Lonzo Ball jersey. I scratched that. I'm just gonna get you a Big Baller T-shirt. Big Baller brand T-shirt.
Big Baller brand. They even have them in purple and gold.
I obviously didn't see the NBA draft, but I was told that Daddy got booed out, and he did leave the BBB cap for his fans.
Yeah, he did.
That's gonna be worth some money later.
yeah, it's gonna be a contract out on their heads. Come on. I mean, you come to LA and expect to get the movie deals and stuff. You don't know how to come to LA bringing your own drama.
So as a player, Brian, what do you think? Does he fit what the Lakers need?
Yeah, he fits. It all depends whether or not he has an upside. I mean, I didn't watch too many of his games, but what I did see, he has court vision. He's a good passer. His shot is kind of weird, but maybe he can work on that.
Yeah, that's teachable stuff. You can work on that stuff. He's big, right? He's 6'6", point guard, long.
Yeah, but that's what they said about D'Angelo Russell too.
Yeah, that's true.
He had a lot of upside, and then became a bust. So he could be, people are saying he's like the next Jason Kidd, or he could be the next D'Angelo Russell. So we'll see in the next couple of years. Yeah,
I mean, his style wise, he fits what the Lakers do, and he, of course, Magic's gonna want that pass first point guard in there, right? He could run an offense, which we saw last year with the Lakers. No one could run that offense. D'Angelo was playing point guard for a while, and then Jordan Clarkson was playing for a while, and they just kept kind of trying to find a guy who can do it, and no one really could. But now you got a true number one point guard who can run the offense, and he does have a smart IQ. He is a good player. We'll see if he, like you said, can he push his potential up? Can Luke Walton help him develop to become like a Jason Kidd type guy? Yeah,
but the thing that concerns me is that he got torched in that game against Kentucky by Fox.
Fox, yeah.
Yeah, he scored like 30 something points in a college game. That's a lot.
Yeah, like 36 points.
Yeah, so I know that he was like Lonzo was distracted that night because of his something happened to his mom, but I don't know, it's not a good sign, especially with a target on his back. Everyone's talking about coming after him whenever he gets in the league. So
yeah,
they might make him look bad, and it'll make it hard for him to develop as a player.
Yeah, Joel Embiid sent out a tweet saying that he wants to dunk on him so hard, Daddy has to come out on the court and save him. So
that's great.
Yeah, so I mean, the players all have their sights set on him. He has a big bullseye on his back because of his dad. And then guys who aren't saying anything, like Steph Curry, they're gonna go right at him and just torch him.
Well, Fox,
that might actually go with his character. I mean, that might be a good thing for him to develop as a player. He's either have to put up or shut up.
Yeah, sink or swim, right?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't UCLA anymore. This is NBA. How many people have come from college and then just stunk it up? So might as well go ahead and play with the big boys and see what if you survive.
Yeah.
See if you can do it without Daddy.
Yeah, I saw a quote somewhere the other day, Aaron Fox was saying, when he gets in the NBA, guys like Patrick Beverley already are planning to guard him full court, so his life is not going to be great in the NBA, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if he can get past it. If he does, then it'll just make him a better player.
Hey, Patrick Beverley, isn't he kind of old? He thinks he's going to be able to cover him full court?
Patrick Beverley's still pretty young.
He's good for defense. He's good on defense. But that's the point, right? People are out there who are going to make his life miserable on the court, and he's going to have to prove that he does have the skills to handle it.
We'll make him good for the next team he goes to.
So all of this, after the Lakers pick, it was the Celtics pick. They took Jason Tatum from Duke. Really good scorer, small forward. He'll help them out with their scoring. But really, that's not the big news with the Celtics. The big news is that they're going after Paul George really, really hard. They want to trade with the Pacers and get George and trying to convince him to stay after next year because he's a free agent and he's already said that he wants to go to the Lakers. He's a local boy from California, so from LA. But the Celtics are kind of hoping that they can trade for him if they can do really well and topple the LeBron and the Cavs and maybe convince him to sign a long-term deal. It sounded like it got pretty close at one point. I don't know if you guys heard that. They almost had a deal done and then it kind of stalled and I don't want to say fall apart, but it's just kind of stuck right now. So the trade didn't go down during the draft, but it's something that could happen again in the future. If they were to trade for him, they're also trying to go after Gordon Hayward. So if you were to get Gordon Hayward, Paul George, and then this dude Tatum, that's a really good team. And they're also going after Kristaps Porzingis from the Knicks, the young 7-footer out there. That somehow, for some reason, Phil Jackson wants to trade, which is just the dumbest thing. You know, you got a franchise young 7-footer, and Phil Jackson was offended that he skipped the exit meeting, so he wants to put him up for trade. I don't know what Phil Jackson's doing in New York, but
yeah, it's dumb for the Knicks and good for everybody else. But yeah, going back to the Celtics, I didn't add this earlier, but they have 2 first-round picks for the next 3 or 4 years, right? So they're pretty set. Even if they don't use all those picks, they can trade them away to get some pretty good players. So yeah, I mean, if I were the Celtics, I would try to get Porzingis first over Paul George since he has that 1-year deal and he can still leave. Yeah, I mean, the Knicks are desperate right now. You can just give them a bunch of picks and then let Phil Jackson screw up all those picks again. I mean, he got lucky getting Porzingis, but all the other picks that he's made, they've been pretty awful.
And then the trade for Rose and Noah, that didn't work out. Well, no, trading for Rose and then signing Noah to that huge deal. It was kind of like what the Lakers did with Mozgov. They gave him a huge contract. Maybe not Mozgov, more like Dang, where you had a guy who just is worn down by this point of his career. Again, another guy from the Bulls, Joakim Noah, but he would stay on the court for 40 minutes a game and multiple injuries, especially to his feet. And Phil Jackson gave him a near max deal for some reason, and that's really coming back to bite him in the butt. He missed most of the season. He only played like in 25 games, I think. So you have an old broken down center. They traded for Rose, who's a free agent now. They're probably not going to bring back. And so they want to trade their best guy, which makes no sense, but
they still got Carmelo. They may just let him go. They'll just cut him for nothing.
Yeah. Brian's favorite player, Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah. A ball-stopping guy. I don't know how else to describe him.
Black hole?
Yeah, the black hole.
Ball gets to him and it just disappears?
Yeah.
He's not even worth the pickup in fantasy anymore, huh?
No. I've never got him before. I just avoid him.
Oh, that was Clay, huh? Clay would get him every year.
Yeah. That's why he's always like kind of struggling because he has Carmelo. He's gonna get me on that later.
Yeah. Okay, so after the Boston pick, around this time there was a huge trade with my Chicago Bulls. They flipped Jimmy Butler to Minnesota for Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, and the 7th overall pick. This was pretty crazy. I didn't expect the Bulls to trade Jimmy. There was a lot of chatter throughout the whole week. The Cavaliers actually going after Jimmy. LeBron and the Cavs are trying to load up to beat Golden State, and their 2 big targets were Paul George and Jimmy Butler. But I would say about yesterday, the deal just kind of died, really. So it became evident that Cleveland wasn't going to get Jimmy. I thought he was safe. I thought he was going to come back next year. And then Dwayne Wade told the Bulls that he was going to opt in to his contract for next year. So I thought, okay, well, they're going to stay veteran team. They're not going to go into full rebuild mode yet because you really can't. You have Wade on the books for 1 more year. Rondo's still there. And they're just pretty much going to run that team back. So I didn't think anything was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Bulls to Minnesota. I'm still conflicted, man. I'm going to be honest.
I
I don't know.
You tears right now.
I have a good face, straight face, poker face on the radio. You guys can't see me, but man, yeah, I was like, damn it, man. First it was Rose last year, and Noah, and then Powell, and then now Jimmy. It's like my whole team's gone.
Yeah, and Taj.
Freaking Doug McDermott, everybody. There's a lot of longtime Bulls are just out of there.
Yeah, and the guys that they picked up, like Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn, they're all guards. So there's like 4 guards now, right?
Yeah,
so,
what we're gonna do is, Rondo was a team option, so I'm pretty sure they're not gonna pick it up. I think they're gonna let him walk.
Even with his performance in the playoffs.
I mean, I guess they can, because it depends on Chris Dunn. If they believe Chris Dunn is starting caliber, ready to come in and just start playing right away, then they can just roll with Rondo. But roll with him and let Rondo walk. But if they don't, if they want Chris Dunn as a backup, I guess you can just keep Rondo. Actually, you know what? I think it's up to Wade. Wade had informed the team that he was going to opt in, but that doesn't become official until Tuesday.
I don't know. He's tweeted a lot of stuff saying he has 24 million reasons why he should stay.
So. Yeah. So I mean, if he stays, if opt-in's good and he stays, then I guess I would bet that they would keep Rondo. They would, because you said he was playing really well in the playoffs before he broke his thumb. Or since we are going now the rebuild is in full effect, we are going super young. They're probably going to want some more veteran guys to help mentor the team. So if Wade is opting in and he's good to go, then yeah, they'll probably bring Rondo back. But then, like you said, now we have like 4 or 5 guards.
There's still that guy Payne from Thunder, who they didn't even use at all.
Yeah. There's Payne, Cameron Payne, and then also Jerrion Grant. He's another dude. And then Denzel Valentine, our lottery pick from last year, he's there too. So it's really a guard heavy team right now. I'm gonna guess that Zach LaVine's gonna move to the 3, and Wade will be at the 2. And if Rondo's back, he'll start at the 1. As part of the deal, we got the 7th pick, who we drafted, Lauri Markkanen from Arizona. He's a 7-foot shooter. He gets compared a lot to Dirk, which every white guy 7-footer gets compared to Dirk. So, but I've seen this guy play, and he can hit from anywhere on the floor. As soon as he crosses the half court line, he can hit a shot. So that's actually pretty cool. We haven't had a shooter like that since Korver left a few years ago. Except this guy's 7 foot, a legit 7 foot. He's a big dude. Probably be playing the 4. I don't know if he'll start right away over Nikola Mirotic and Bobby Portis, but I would assume so if he's his number 7 pick, right? Yeah. And with that kind of shooting ability, we have Robin Lopez down low at center and kick it out to him. So that's what I'm assuming the Bulls are going to do. Like I said, I'm still pretty conflicted. Jimmy Butler was a top 10 player in the league, and to move him, there's a writer, one of my favorite writers. He used to be at ESPN, Bill Simmons. His philosophy was never to trade $1 for 4 quarters. Meaning trade one guy for 3 or 4 lesser guys, because it just doesn't add up. It's not the same.
Well, we have some people in our fantasy league who follows that philosophy.
Yeah. Not naming any names, but the good thing is that Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn are both really young. I think Zach LaVine, it's only his 3rd year.
Yeah, getting better.
And he's getting better. And then Chris Dunn, it's only his 2nd year. So the potential for these 3 young guys, counting the lottery pick, could down the road be better. If Zach LaVine keeps ascending, he was averaging over 20 points a game last year before he got hurt. If he keeps rising, and then Chris Dunn turns into a solid point guard, and then this guy turns into a poor man's Dirk or something, we could end up having a core for a really good team right now. It just happened today, so it's still a fresh wound and kind of sucks. But you got to bite the bullet and rebuild. And as our team was constructed, being a 7 AC, that's like the limbo, right? That's the no man's land in the NBA. That's the worst spot you can be. You make the playoffs, you get bounced in the first, and then you're not bad enough to get a high lottery pick that can turn around your franchise. So I would rather be one of those teams that is either really good or just straight up rebuilding on the bottom. Get those high lottery picks and turn your team around.
Yeah, I agree with you. And going back to the trade, there were rumors floating around that people from the Cavs are telling Jimmy Butler, don't go there. They're warning him not to go there. I mean, he doesn't have any say in the trade, but it's a bad sign in Cleveland right now when you're hearing players say things like that. Yeah, and for him to go to the Timberwolves might work out for him. He's playing with Thibodeau again, so he'll be familiar there, and he'll be playing with Wiggins and Town. Both those guys I really like watching. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the Wolves are going to get better.
Yeah, this makes the Wolves a lot better. If they don't make the playoffs this year, I don't know what's good. I don't know if they ever will.
Well, even last year, on paper they had all the talent, but they can't win. So
Yeah.
But I've seen some of their games, like they're young, like down the stretch they just end up making these really stupid mistakes. So hopefully they learn from it, and having Jimmy on the team will kind of bring some stability.
Yeah, some leadership, right? They needed that leadership. That's what they needed. Right. Yeah, when you have too many young guys, sometimes that doesn't work. You don't know who's the leader of the team and who to turn to. Now they got it. Now they got that guy, and he's a top 10 player. So it's like not only is he just a leader, but he's actually a great player that they can follow. Yeah, I think they should definitely be pushing for a playoff spot this year.
Yeah, and for me, like I'm always about how you perform in the NBA, not how you perform in college or wherever. So it's for me, I would always get the player who's shown that they're good, versus these guys that may or may not be good. So like Minnesota, they made the right move for sure. I mean, that too. It's just now it depends on like the guys that the Bulls get, whether they pan out or not.
Yeah. So and another bad thing about this trade is that we won't know if it's a good trade or not for another 2-3 years. So we kind of have to just sit and play the waiting game and watch these guys and hope they get better.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happens next year is going to be a wash. Whether they play well or not, you really don't know until the second year, I guess.
Yeah. So after that big deal, the Phoenix Suns went forth. They took Josh Jackson from Kansas, really highly respected or highly touted prospect, small forward. Phoenix is one of those teams that are like right there too. They're like almost going to be good, so getting him would help. And then at 5 was the DeAndre Fox, he's the one that we talked about earlier, who lit up Lonzo Ball in the Sweet 16. He went to Sacramento, which sucks for him. He's really good, but Sacramento's just really, really bad.
Yeah.
He's just gonna be wasting there for potentially a long time.
Well, he can showcase his talent for a few years and then get the heck out of there as soon as he can.
Yeah. Orlando picked a small forward, Isaac from Florida State. He's a good player, and that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is that he plays the same position as Aaron Gordon. So now there's talk that Aaron Gordon and Nikola Vucevic are going up for trade.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know what Orlando's been doing for the last few years, actually.
Yeah. Well, last year they got what's his name from OKC.
Oh, Ibaka.
Ibaka, yeah. And then they just traded him mid-season, and I don't even know what they got from the Raptors for him. But,
right.
Yeah, I have no idea what they're doing.
And then before that, they had Nikola Vucevic, who was, I thought, one of the best young centers in the league. And then they went out and they signed Biyombo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, why? Now you have two guys who play the exact same position who should be starting, and they paid Biyombo a lot of money. It just doesn't make sense. Now they got to move Vucevic, who I think is the better player.
Right. Yeah, I don't think highly of Biyombo. He just had that one good series, and then he gets that big contract, and he looks like he's a star, but he's not that good.
He's not that good. Yeah, and then number 7 was the Bulls pick of Markkanen that I just went over. The Knicks took a French point guard to replace Derrick Rose, since he'll probably be going somewhere. Not sure. The rumors are San Antonio or Minnesota will be going after Derrick. We'll see about that. Number 9 was Dennis Smith to the Mavericks. He was actually being compared to Steve Francis, which I don't know about that. Steve Francis was dope. And then to round out the top 10, Zach Collins, a center, went to Sacramento. Actually, I think that was part of a trade. I'm not sure if they kept that pick, to be honest. I think he actually went to Portland.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so that actually, I mean, Portland's another team that when they got that trade for Nurkic, really stepped up their team, and they're going to be another one of these up and coming teams. They're fighting for that 7-8 spot in the West. We won't go over every pick in the draft because a lot of these guys we don't know. That's the problem with the NBA draft is once you get out of the lottery, It's just a crapshoot. But the first 10 players of these drafts are really good. And this year's draft are really good and can be game changers. So I just wanted to throw them out there. But another team I want to talk about is the Clippers. What do you think is going to happen with the Clippers, man? They seem to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm not. So outside of the players, the team is planning to build a new stadium by 2024, because that's when their lease at the Staples Center is up. So they're looking into property, I guess in Inglewood or something.
Inglewood, yeah.
Yeah. So they're gonna have their own stadium. So that's a good thing. They'll be away from the Lakers' shadows. They don't have to hide the Lakers championship banners with their banner. So the team is headed in the right direction, like the organization, I mean. Yeah, but with the players, I don't know. I never liked the combination of Blake, DeAndre, and Chris Paul. When I lived in LA, like I would watch them play pretty often, and they're entertaining to watch. But when it gets to the postseason, two of those guys can't do anything.
Yeah.
And then so they always go into the playoff winning 50-plus games, and then they'll just get bounced in the first or second round.
Yeah.
So it's really disappointing if you're a Clippers fan. And the other thing is they really need to change their team name. They had the chance earlier, but they didn't do it. I don't know why. But yeah, that's a different story. But yeah, like it sounds like the top three guys are all in like rumors of Chris Paul leaving, and then they're shopping DeAndre Jordan, and then they're also shopping like Blake Griffin. So I don't know. It sounds like they're gonna just blow up the team.
Yeah, and also another guy is JJ Redick. He's a free agent, and he could just leave. And it doesn't sound like they're even gonna try and keep him. Like, he's just gone.
Well, even like towards the end of the season, like there were news about him. He's saying stuff like he's not happy with the way the team's going, how they play. But the good news is they just brought in Jerry West as a consultant. So he's turned around teams like the Lakers back then, and then he went to Memphis. He turned them around. And then most recently he went to the Warriors, and he turned those guys into a championship team. So we'll see. From the front office, bring in Jerry West if that will make a change, make a difference. But for now, for the summer, yeah, there may be a lot of changes. So
yeah.
I think they should get rid of Blake and DeAndre Jordan. They should have got rid of both of them last year. Just let DeAndre go to Dallas. Since he wanted the money.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. For those guys who don't remember, the Mavericks signed DeAndre Jordan to a max contract, and he signed the deal and was leaving. And then at the last second, he turned the deal down and went back to the Clippers, and he burned the Mavericks really hard.
Yeah,
and they're still pretty pissed about it. Yeah, and recently this past week there was rumors that they had offered him to Phoenix for the 4 pick and Tyson Chandler just to move on. I guess they're gonna blow it, like you said, blow it up. And with Jerry West around, maybe they think that they can rebuild on the fly. If they let Blake Griffin leave, and I heard that Toronto was going to go after him really hard. If they let him leave, if Chris Paul goes to Spurs, JJ Redick leaves, and then they trade DeAndre, I mean, they have nothing left on the team, right. just money. And
well, I don't think they should not let all three of them go. They need to keep one of them.
So if Blake and Chris Paul leaves, then keep Jordan.
No.
Like
they have to keep Chris Paul. Yeah, he's the best player out of the three. But if he leaves, yeah, then there's really no point. They might as well just blow it up.
Right.
Yeah, you can't have DeAndre as a star player or like Blake Griffin. Yeah, it's not gonna work. So if Chris Paul leaves, then they should blow it up and just start over.
Yeah. So let's say they're able to keep Chris Paul. That's a really good recruiter for LeBron James in next season. Yeah. They're really good friends. They hang out all the time. Bring in LeBron with Chris Paul and Jerry West at the helm. You can build something from there really quick.
Yeah, it may be my favorite player, Carmelo, too.
Yeah. He'd probably come over for peanuts at that point.
Still don't. Well, with LeBron there, it'll probably be different, but I still don't see them beating the Warriors.
No. Yeah, LeBron, Paul, and DeAndre and Carmelo, who's fading pretty fast. He's not as good as he was.
Right.
But another contender, the Spurs, they're making some moves too. They're really infatuated with Chris Paul. I don't know if they convinced him, but Pau Gasol opted out of his deal, which is what they needed him to do. And he's gonna sit and wait. And once they make a move, he'll re-sign at a cheaper rate. but they're also trying to move LaMarcus Aldridge, who really let them down in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they want him out of there, and his name started popping up today in trade discussions. I heard that they were actually possibly offering him for Paul George, which if you had Paul George and Kawhi Leonard on the same team, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, I mean, if I can get rid of LaMarcus, I mean, I like him as a player, but he just didn't work out in San Antonio. If you can rent Paul George since you're planning to get rid of him anyway, I say they do it.
Right. And if you get Paul George in there with Kawhi Leonard, with all that money still that you have saved, they're actually shopping Danny Green away. Right now they were talking to Cleveland about shipping off Danny Green. It sounds like Ginobili's going to retire, so his money comes off the books. And then if you're able to do something with Tony Parker, that gives them enough money to go after Chris Paul as well. So if you bring in Paul George and you have Kawhi Leonard, and you say, "Hey, Chris, that's a pretty good team."
Yeah.
That one right there, I think that one gives the Warriors a run for their money.
Yeah.
We'll see though. They have to move Aldridge first. That's what all comes out. If they can move Aldridge, then I think the dominoes start to fall. And then they have Paul Gasol is going to re-sign too at a really cheap deal. So that's a really dangerous team right there. That can win it all. And you still have Popovich coaching the team. So
right.
But man, Cleveland, they went from talking Chicago for Butler and then to Indiana for Paul George, and they might end up just Danny Green. That's not good.
So what does it mean with Danny Green? Like, who are they going to trade for him? Like Kevin Love or? No,
just small. I think they just want picks back if they can. I don't know if they can though. They might have to match contracts, but they don't want anyone like Kevin Love, a big contract, and that's what sucks for Cleveland is that nobody wants Kevin Love right now.
Yeah, he's too expensive.
He's too expensive. He's not that good of a player. I mean, he's a good player, but he's not a max franchise guy who can change your whole team around. So they're offering Kevin Love to like the Pacers, and they're like, "No, we don't want. He doesn't help us." You offer him to Chicago, it's the same thing. No, it doesn't help us at all. So they're kind of stuck. Getting Danny Green, yeah, he's a good 3-and-D guy, and he played for Cleveland before, and he played with LeBron before, but that doesn't, so he'd probably just be replacing Kyle Korver. So I think the Cavs, as of right now, the Cavs kind of look stuck.
Yeah, and all these news coming out recently about the owner firing David Griffin, and then now they're interviewing. They're done interviewing Chauncey. They offered him a 5-year deal, and now it's up to him whether he wants to take it or not. And I've heard that he's not sure whether he wants to or not. On a personal side, like he likes his family in Denver. But then on the GM side, if he takes it, there's a lot of rumors going around that LeBron's going to leave next year, Kyrie's going to leave. Like the whole team's going to break up pretty much by the end of next year if it doesn't start this summer. So he's going to have a lot of work in his on his hands. But I don't know. Like I was talking to you this morning, and there's not a lot of GM jobs out there. So maybe he should take it just to give it a shot.
Yeah, get that experience. Use that to jump into another job later.
Yep.
And I mean, and who knows if he's able to pull keep the Cavs competitive, then that really gets other teams' attention, and they can get a big fat contract somewhere.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they have a lot of guys, like at least for this year, a lot of guys are under max contracts, so there's not a lot of moves they can really make, especially when no one wants to trade for Kevin Love. You really can't do anything. You're pretty much stuck with the same team again. Yeah.
So the draft just ended right now, a couple of minutes ago. Second round finished up. The Bulls had another pick, and I'm just gonna say this is still the draft. His name is hold on. His name Jordan Bell. He's from school somewhere. He's from Oregon, and I think he's good. He looks like it. He looks good. Let me pull up some highlights real quick. And he can't shoot apparently, but he's like crazy defensive guy apparently. So still the draft. I'm calling it Jordan Bell from Oregon, and
next Joakim.
Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson 2.0, even better though. Ben Wallace, better than Ben Wallace, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year.
I'm a negative 1.0.
But yeah, that's it. That's it for the NBA draft. No other trades went down when we were talking to you guys. It's gonna be exciting. There's still a lot of stuff to look forward to, even though the draft's over. There's still Paul George is still out there. The Spurs are trying to pull stuff. I heard Houston is trying to get in the game somehow. They're trying to move some contracts. They're over the cap right now, I think, but they're trying to get some space to get some guys in there. And I like Houston. Houston's an exciting team to watch. If they can get another guy in there, I don't think they'll be good enough to win anything. Their coach is D'Antoni, and his style of play just doesn't relate to postseason success. But still a lot of stuff going down. We'll keep you guys posted if there's any massive trades or anything. And also next week on the 1st is the first day of free agency, and there's a lot of guys out there: Kyle Lowry, Paul Millsap, guys we talked about before, JJ Redick, Blake Griffin, all these free agents that could, if they move, they can really shift the power of some teams. So still a lot of exciting stuff to go on coming up in the NBA pretty soon, which is good because there's still like 2 months until football, and I'm getting bored already.
Dude, the finals just ended like last week.
Yeah, man.
The Warriors had their parade last week, and you're bored already.
Dude, I turn on sports talk radio, and it's baseball. And then if you ever hear baseball on the radio, they're not talking about baseball. They're talking about the hot dogs and stuff.
Yeah. The channel I watch here, like the game is so slow, like the camera just pans on the crowd, and they just make fun of them. Just pass the time.
Oh man, it's the dog days of summer right here, man. There's another month until Comic-Con and stuff, and that's a lot of time to try and kill.
Well, you can catch up on your video games.
Yeah, that's true. I got a couple I can blast through actually. I'm still behind on Outlast. I haven't been able to play it in like a week, so I gotta get through that one. And you gotta play Red Dead, dude. You gotta play it, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'll be home in 3 weeks for Deep 23, so I'll be sure to pick that up from my house and then bring it back up here to play.
And I don't think there's any other games, any new releases coming, but I don't know. We'll find stuff to do, stuff to play until
we can play like marbles or those old games.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know.
I'll play Battlefield and just get killed all day. That's it for us, guys. That's another episode. Thanks for listening in. We'll be back soon with another podcast next week. And anything else you want to throw in there, Brian?
No. Well, I look forward to the podcast next week while I'm away. So hopefully I won't be replaced by the time I get back.
We'll see. We'll see what we come up with.
All right.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all later.